most recently holding the role as Council Commissioner. Jan is a proud mother of an Eagle Scout, and without further ado, I'm going to give the floor to Jan to walk us through the presentation tonight. Jan?
Great, thanks. I just want to thank everybody for making the time to be here tonight. I'm going to go over this presentation, then as Dan said, we'll have some time for Q&A at the end. And just be aware, I'm not able to see everybody and I can't see the chat, so we'll certainly make time at the end for that conversation. So with that, I'm giving John the nod to go to our next slide. So we have the program fee task force that convened beginning in January of this year. The purpose of the task force was really to evaluate different options and their effects in terms of finding funds to fully support council and our programming and to support our units. During the course of the months since January, we've conducted a focus group and met to make final recommendations to the board for our path forward, what we believe is the most responsible way forward. We have, as you can see, members of the task force. We really made an effort to represent certainly all seven counties that make up the council, and to represent a variety of stakeholders to make sure that all voices were heard at the table as part of this process. So I want to thank all of our committee members for the dedication and the robust conversation that we've had since January. In looking at our program and looking at our council, this is just some of the statistics from 2024. We have just shy of 7,500 total youth across 7 counties. We also serve 3,500 adult volunteers. We have just over 1,200 scouts that attend a Greater Hudson Valley summer camp, be it resident camp or day camp. We have in 2024, we had 253 scouts attain the rank of Eagle, about 9,700 merit badges earned, and 80 summer camping scholarships totaling just over $21,000 granted to various camperships. When we look at the program fee, it's important to realize how that money is used, and that money goes towards camps, maintenance and programming in camps. It goes towards insurance. Oh, John, could you just roll back? Sorry. So we have a variety of insurance. We have our professional staff that provide services to all of our scouters, and we maintain an office and a scout store. The camps that we've talked about, hopefully most of you, if not all of you, are familiar with our 3 camps. We have Camp Reed, which is primarily our summer camp, resident camp up in the Adirondacks. We have Durland, which is weekend camping in Putnam Valley, and Camp Bullowa in Stony Point, that are 2,900 total acres of property that we own and manage. The insurance, which is really the business behind the business. We provide liability coverage, accident, sickness, and insurance. So anytime you go on a camp out, you are covered. Property damage and protection, all of the various types of insurance that you see here that keep us, it's just sort of risk management, and that we maintain to ensure coverage for all of our staff and volunteers. We have 7 professional staff. We have 4 support staff and 3 camp rangers that are all, working to support the units, working to support our properties. And it's worth noting that Tom Campanile and myself as board members, along with Dan and Rich, had the opportunity to get some training done in Philmont. Our staff is significantly smaller than many of the other councils that we're actually quite shocked. So we have a very lean, mean professional and support staff The camp rangers, we have 3 camp rangers, 1 on each property, that maintain all the infrastructure, maintain those properties. As you can imagine, that's a significant investment that support our programming. When the 2 councils merged, there was a significant request. A lot of voices were heard that they wanted to have access to an in-person scout shop. They didn't want to have to go out of council, nor did they want to have to exclusively shop online. So we made that happen. We also have council office available for support if people need to come in and take care of scouting business. We have council office in Fishkill open Monday through Friday. So we convened this task force to address some of our budget challenges. Specifically, we are facing inflation like every homeowner and all of the rest of us are. We also, no shock to anybody on this call, New York State, we have salary requirements that are quite stringent. The insurance that we need to cover. We have fundraising challenges that are facing all nonprofits. I work with a lot of nonprofits, and they're all facing the same sort of challenges to fundraising and donations that we're facing. So that's no shock. We have fewer members. With fewer members, we collect lower membership fees, fewer campers, fewer units selling popcorn and doing fundraising. So those all contribute to significant budget challenges. As we started to look at how we're going to address those challenges, we had to deal with some of our limitations in terms of the technology. One of the first things that we really wanted to be able to offer was allowing a subscription model. Unfortunately, the software that we have just does not allow us to set that up, so we weren't able to go with a monthly payment system. The other option was to maybe move the anniversary date so that our program fees weren't being collected right around the holidays, which we know creates a bit of a hardship for a lot of people. Unfortunately, nationals limitations don't allow us to do that. We also looked at providing a tiered program fee based on location, and again, just the technical limitations didn't really allow us to offer any of those options, and those kind of constrained how we then proceeded. So digging into the budget, it's worth noting we need to look at how much the program, how much it costs per scout to offer program. When we look at the total cost per scout, that's $442 per scout in the program. We subtracted out the summer camp cost because that ends up being basically a wash. The campers, and when they come in, basically pay for the expenses that it costs to run camp. We subtract out the $85 that we currently charge for a program fee, and we get what we call the final adjusted cost per scout of $254. And that is, oh, go ahead, John. So that when we're looking at the net revenue, council fundraising revenue, as you can see, it's Friends of Scouting, special events, foundations, grant money that we receive, and the Bullowa Trust, as well as the council and the Derlin Trust. That's about $800,000, just over $800,000 per year that the council basically puts in towards fundraising revenue. Member-driven revenue is what we're calling the year-round camping. So when you go and you camp at one of the council properties, that goes into year-round camping revenue. Summer camp net of fees, and the popcorn and nut sales that units are asked to participate in. That raises about $370,000 for a combined revenue of $1.2 million. So when we look at the final adjusted cost per scout, again, going back to the earlier slide, and we take out the council fundraising revenue, so the money that the council raises to support each scout, it's about $110 per scout. Member-driven revenue, the popcorn sales, camping, that's about another $50, and we're left with a net deficit of $94 per scout. So when we multiply that $94 times 7,400 scouts, we're left with a total deficit of $695,000 out of a budget of 3.3. So significant gap. We looked at a couple of different options. These were 3 options that we did consider. The first we just called sort of a split fee structure, by which we would raise the program fee to $125 and include a fundraising fee of $54 per scout. The way that was intended to work was, again, we raise the fee that's charged at the end of the year, and then in the middle of the year, we would basically issue an invoice for that $54 times however many scouts are in the unit. The pro would be able to split up the timing of that, and then the units would be able to fundraise or just pay the amount due. The challenge with that is it's basically unenforceable, meaning there's really no way we can ask for the money, but there was no guarantee. And then there was also an administrative cost to that, meaning staff would take time in order to kind of manage all of that. The second option was we just simply raise the fee to cover the entire gap, and that would be obviously a significant increase of $100 to a total of $185 for the program fee. Pro is, yes, it does balance the budget. It would allow us to do just a flat administrative fee for fundraisers, allowing the units to keep more of the proceeds. But obviously, we recognize that was a significant jump, and we would need to replace the lost revenue because the units would then be keeping a larger part of those product sales. So that was not ideal. Third option was we just simply reduce the budget by that gap. And again, the pro was it would certainly balance the budget, but it would require potentially selling one of our council camps, staff reduction. And again, we already have a small staff, and it would definitely negatively impact our ability to deliver program. So after considering those options and giving it a lot of consideration and kicking around a number of different ideas, this is where we ultimately what we recommended to the executive board to raise the fee and encourage member-driven revenue to close this gap. And what that entails is raising the program fee as of this year end, increasing it by $50 times 7,400 scouts, raises about $370,000 towards that gap. The additional revenue needed to close that gap is $326,000. We anticipate, hopefully, if this goes according to plan and all the units are able to roll up their sleeves through product sales, fundraising, camping, and other sources. So popcorn sale, nut sales. If we are not able to meet that goal, then by November 1st, then we would, sorry, I'm getting my, if the goal is not met by November 1st, the council will increase the program fee an additional $50 effective December 1st of 2026. The reason we feel this is the best option is it does increase the program fee significantly. We do recognize that, but we're really trying to increase revenue driven through fundraising and give plenty of lead time for the increase for 2026 and the potential for an increase in 2027. So everybody understands what the challenges are, what the goal is, and how we can work together to make sure that we fill this budget gap.